Welcome to Leisure Gamer Network, a home for working professionals, students, parents, or anyone else with a passion for gaming but have time constraints on when you can play. We review games after an hour of gameplay to see if they grabbed our attention and are worth your time playing. During development, Crysis 2 was guaranteed to have the best graphics in the history of video games. It's worth mentioning right away, the game's visuals are outstanding. Graphically, everything in the game is incredibly polished, and it truly feels like you're in the middle of a decaying metropolis. The most appealing aspect of the visuals is the way the light interacts with the world, the way it seeps in through the cracks in the walls, reflects off objects, or creates dynamic shadows with the surroundings. The game begins during sunset on the coast of Manhattan, and the setting is truly breathtaking to play through. The story is a little ambiguous. From what we can piece together from the first hour of gameplay, is that an outbreak of a deadly virus has put Manhattan into the state of emergency. Martial law has been declared and a private military company is trying to manage the chaos. Meanwhile, the island is also under threat from an alien race from the first game. As a Marine, you are sent into Manhattan to extract a certain scientist for reasons yet to be known. However, things go awry and you end up inheriting the high-tech nanosuit, which gives you advanced combat abilities, and it is up to you to pursue the objective alone. The nanosuit is at the core of Crysis 2 gameplay, and using the suit's power is what makes Crysis 2 different from other shooters. The game is linear in fashion, but you have multiple options of how to engage the enemies. The game teaches you early on how to scan the environment with your visor. This shows you tactical options to give you the upper hand, such as climbing to higher ground in order to gain a vantage point, or a way to flank the enemies by going around or underneath them. The visor also helps you tag enemies, so if you can no longer see them visually, you can track their position through your visor. There are three basic functions of the suit. First is power, which is the default mode. This makes you run faster, jump higher, and move heavy objects. The second is cloaking, which makes you invisible and move undetected. The final is armor, which strengthens how much damage you can take, especially against explosives. Eventually, you'll unlock special abilities for your suit, such as reducing the energy cost of staying in one of the modes, or for the more unique ability, tracking incoming gunfire in order to detect which direction you're being hit from. Most of the abilities deplete the suit's powers, so you have to manage which abilities to use and when to use them. A unique feature of Crysis 2 is managing your suit upgrades and weapons can all be done through an interactive in-game menu. You can quickly add an attachment without having to break from the game. So far, all the weapons have been comfortable to use, and you'll quickly start to find your favorite weapon to pick up. Ammo is abundant throughout Crysis 2, but remember, the game tracks your accuracy rating. The minute you pick up Crysis 2, you'll feel that it just plays different than other shooters. It pays homage to the great games of the past, but it defines its own style. The gameplay has been focused from the first game, and the suit's powers have been reduced from 4 to 3. But this still isn't a run and gun type of game. You need to use your abilities to survive. Every situation is different, and you need to adapt. At first it might seem overwhelming, but within the first hour you should be able to find your footing. Crysis 2 earns the rating of standard for difficulty. Once you have mastered the combat, there are up to 4 different difficulty settings you can challenge yourself with, and the last one is seriously gonna hurt. The multiplayer is even more challenging than the campaign. For some, the pace might be comfortable. For others, it will be a real struggle to try and keep up with the combat. Every player is entitled to the same cloaking and armor abilities from the campaign, so you'll be constantly checking your back in order to detect stealth players. You'll be pressing a lot of buttons quickly in order to switch in and out of suit modes to meet the needs of every situation. However, the multiplayer does feature a new recruits section, which is only open to new players. This helps you ease into the learning curve of the multiplayer. Both the campaign and multiplayer can be enjoyed in a reasonable amount of time. I felt like I made considerable progress on both modes only after an hour of gameplay, and Crysis 2 earns the rating of evening for time commitment. The campaign autosaves at key points, but the checkpoints are varied in their distances apart. The game moves the action along quickly. Smaller firefights lead it to large battles, which then lead to quiet moments where the story can be explained. Everything so far has been shown only from the first-person point of view, which makes for a very engaging experience. The online experience is going to be different for everyone. Between joining a match already in progress or waiting for a new match to begin, a lot of time is wasted waiting around. This idle time is spent tweaking your class and monitoring your objectives you need to complete in order to help you level up. This experience-based multiplayer design has become the standard, and there's plenty of objectives to complete that are going to keep you busy for a long time. If you want to get into the action quickly, there's a section of matches called Fast Rounds, which drastically reduces the time in between matches to only a few seconds.
Ready up, here we go!
The action inside Crysis 2 is topped off with incredible sound design and a huge musical score, both in length and breadth. Combined with the best graphics you've ever seen, and Crysis 2 is a sensory onslaught from the very beginning. Although the story is a bit unclear, the quality of the gameplay and the in-game experience definitely made me want to keep playing. Crysis 2 earns the rating of absolutely. The multiplayer, although challenging and aggravating at times, did make me a better player, and I'm excited to go back to the campaign with my much refined skills. However, I did notice that my mood changed significantly after playing the multiplayer. The competitive atmosphere of trying to be the best and killing others along my quest for that #1 spot certainly made me, grouchy? I know I have potential to be really good at multiplayer, but I think the anxiety of knowing that I don't have the time to commit to be the best bothers me. So leisure gamers, be careful. The multiplayer is really fun, but it might just make you a soured person. For your own thoughts on the game, post in the comment section below, and remember to subscribe to become part of the Leisure Gamer Network. Till next time, enjoy gaming.